Okay. Um, Introduce yourself just to the camera and just let them know who I'm interviewing.
Okay, my name's Megan Russell. I'm a friend of Isaac's mother.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay, so tell me about your background, and then walk me through your career path and how you ended up as a business manager at Modern Ice.
Okay, so a little bit about my background. I grew up in Virginia. I grew up around a lot of very educated women, and so they were my example. I would say a lot in my schooling through primary school and high school. Um, the area I lived was women were just known to be have upper level degrees and things like that. So just the women around me were my example. Um, with that, I wanted to go to college, and I started my schooling in Utah at what was at the time Utah Utah Valley. It's Utah Valley University, but it was Utah Valley State College at the time. And I initially didn't have any idea what I wanted to study. I think I was going to do communications, and then I was going to switch over to biology. But I ended up doing business marketing, and I'm happy with that degree. Um, just so when I was in college, I ran a restaurant, and I knew that I was good with people, and I wanted to take what I learned managing the restaurant into sales because I knew that you could make a lot of money in sales. So I initially started out selling food to restaurants. And I got the job because I was a manager of a restaurant. And so I worked for US Foods for quite a while. And then that sales job turned into, I grew the Western uh, territory in Utah for a produce company. And then that took me into a sales job where it was selling contracts, kind of like a co op for uh, all different types of facilities, hotels, doctors, surgery centers, outpatient centers, things like that. I did that for a long time. And then from that, I went into selling microbiology and chemistry testing. And my final job that I'm at currently, I sell manufacturing lines and robotics. So I sell large pieces of capital equipment. And I work the Western United States.
Okay, so you do all of the Western United States?
Yes.
So, okay, wow. How long have you been doing this?
So
Your current position at?
okay,
Yeah.
just the current position that I've had, I've been doing for 5 years this month.
Okay, awesome. Okay, thank you so much. Now, what does like a typical day or a typical work day or week look like as a business manager?
So I travel 2 weeks out of the month, and then the other 2 weeks I'm in an office.
Okay.
But I do work from home, so I have a little bit of freedom as to when I can work. I do like to start Mountain Standard Time, but I do cover Pacific. So if I wanted to, I really could work 9 to 6 or 8 to 5. It doesn't matter as long as my work gets done. When I'm on the road, I genuinely go out and talk to clients, visit with clients. I take them to lunch, take them to dinner. We talk about ways to make their plant efficient. If they need to add production to their plants, I primarily work in the packaged ice industry. So I will sell everything from like a 50-ton ice maker down to a robotic arm that palletizes ice. So we look at all of the things within an ice plant, a manufacturing ice plant that we would sell.
Okay. So you sell to like all sorts of different companies, and just people in general?
Yeah, we can sell to anyone,
Okay.
but our main customers are manufacturers and distributors that currently sell ice, or we have been known to build a plant for someone who's never been in the ice business before.
Okay, awesome. We'll move on. So your kind of like your biggest learning moment, like before you started, like your process of getting into this position, um, you probably had a kind of like an idea of what you were getting yourself into. But what's something that like surprised you, as you've been working, for this company?
Oh, how easy it is to sell stuff.
Easy. So.
That's actually I was a little bit intimidated by
Mhm.
the big large pieces of equipment. Um, I also was a little bit intimidated because I'm kind of a girl in a man's world. All of my coworkers are men. All of my the other sales reps are men. There aren't many women in manufacturing, so I was a little bit worried about how I would be received within the
Mhm.
industry. But I think I was surprised at how well I was
Mhm.
received.
Okay, so it was kind of like a breakthrough. Like you were, like at like right when you started working, you kind of just clicked.
The information, it I learned over years,
Mm-hmm.
but the relationships, like if you're a natural relationship builder,
Yeah.
those just clicked. And I tend to work well with the opposite sex. And so I was a little bit afraid, but they clicked,
Mm.
and I've been successful in the
Okay.
industry.
So for like a college student that wants to go into like operations or like sales, do you think this positions for can be for anyone, or do you think it's like a specific type of personality?
Um, to be honest, I think it is a certain type of personality because people buy from people they trust.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have more of an introverted, standoffish, like, you have to really get to know you. And um, I kind of am open and I talk to everyone,
Yeah.
and I'm open to like an honest conversation. I think that has gotten my foot in the door in a lot of ways.
Okay. What would you say is something that's crucial that you need to be successful doing what you do?
Okay, this is really something you have to be good at
Mm-hmm.
in everything you do. And I would say it's time management. And especially for today's generation,
Mm-hmm.
it's essential that you learn how to manage your time. And I think at this age, you either decide, do I want to play or do I want to work?
Yeah.
And you can play in life, but playing costs. And I think it's essential that you learn how to manage your time. So, I always say like the first couple of hours of my day, I get the most done
Mm-hmm.
every day. Um, and so I try my hardest to schedule those very productive hours and get my
Yeah.
stuff done. But if you don't know how to manage your time and you're hanging out with your buddies and you let your friends pull you this way, you really have to be focused and a great time manager.
Okay. Okay, cool. I see that. Now, what would you say are your biggest challenge? Um, what would you say your biggest challenge is?
In the industry.
Yeah, in the industry.
So we have two other competitors. One of our competitors runs a different manufacturing line, and although our manufacturing line is definitely better,
Mm-hmm.
um, their manufacturing line is from Europe and it's pretty.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the biggest things that I run into are people that are taken by my competitors' manufacturing
Yeah.
line over mine. Even though mine is more efficient,
Mm-hmm.
it will work longer, it'll run longer, it's faster bags per minute,
Mm-hmm.
all the things. But to convince people who have never used one or the other,
Yeah.
that can be a challenge.
It could be pretty difficult because they're like attracted to the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. That makes sense. For just any for a student hoping to go into business management, sales, etc. What skills or experiences, since we've done skills, what experiences would you say are the most valuable?
Um, well, I want to say something on that. To if I'm speaking to like the younger generation,
Mm-hmm.
I would say the skill to be able to sell yourself. Okay, like hands down. Um, People love confidence. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just know that you're just as good as the next guy. Like, learn your value. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter, you know, uh, the people around you. As long as you know your value and you can sell yourself. Actually, when I got this job, I really needed a job, and I got 6 job offers.
Yeah.
And I contributed to not only needing a job but being able to sell myself to a company.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say learn your confidence fast. Learn how to really let the company know how you're going to help their bottom line. Let people know what you're going to do for them, not what they can do for you. And it really, I noticed that technique in all of my job interviews
Yeah.
and stuff really worked.
Okay. I want to follow up on kind of like you were talking about job interviews. So in like an interview process, because that's super, that's we learn about, especially with this class, business scholars. We They're always preparing us for interviews, stuff like that. What would you say would like really make you stand out when when you're in an interview, and like your resume especially?
Okay, resume. I shouldn't say this, but I always say fake it till you make it.
Okay.
Um, that's probably bad advice, but I'm telling you, if you're willing to do the work, the hard work, in your resume, you want to put quantitative information, okay, instead of qualitative.
Yeah.
You can say, I'm great with people, I'm a salesman at heart. But if you can show from previous jobs numbers, like you took this territory from 5 million to 10 million, you were able to break into 15 different markets. You want to talk quantitative because numbers always speak to CEOs. Proof, I always say proof in the pudding.
Yeah.
If you have any awards, like strive to be the best, work for awards, like share what you've done for your community. Anything that you're serving others, number one, put that in your resume. Put quantitative information in your resume. And then in your interviews, let the other people speak, and always follow up. So if somebody gives you an opportunity to have an interview, you always follow up with an email, a note, a text, whatever it is, thanking them for their time, and asking them what the next step is. Always.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree. I think that's really important. Would you say, like for the younger generation trying to break through into like this career, do you think it's like very competitive?
So sales is competitive. Um,
Mm-hmm.
if you start and you give everything you have in sales, so I always say hard work, follow through, and consistency. So the squeaky wheel's gonna get the worm. The squeaky wheel's gonna get, or the squeaky wheel's gonna get the oil. Um, and I would definitely say the more you follow up, the more you work, the more harder work that you're willing to put in, you're going to see rewards. And the sooner you see rewards, the sooner you're going to be able to climb the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that my sales position is more of an advanced sales position. It's not really an entry level. I work the whole Western United States, Western Canada, Alaska, Hawaii. That's a big territory. I have 650 customers. But I worked my way into this position. And so nothing is ever handed free. Um, and so that would be my advice is to keep climbing the ladder. The sooner in your age that you can climb, do it.
Okay, kind of building on what you just talked about. So if you were in my position, kind of like still like college, very early in my career, what would you focus on um, to really help climb that ladder and really become successful?
I would take advantage of any opportunity within your university that offers things such as project management certificates,
Mm-hmm.
um, any kind of certification that you can think of, like anything that sets you apart from the next guy. So if you're certified in project management, like at my last position, it was required that the salesman did the um, project management. We had to sell the project, but then we had to follow it through.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have certifications like that, anything that you do in finance that you can get certified in, I would also say something essential. Two things I would, especially if you're going to eventually make money, I would know tax law, anything you can learn about taxes and investing. So, where you're going to put your money after you make it. And those are two things I wish I had taken in college and listened closely. I did take finance, but it wasn't really advanced, it wasn't investing.
Yeah.
But those were two things that I look back and wish I
Mm-hmm.
had really learned before I got into business.
Okay. Yeah. How would you describe modern ISIS culture, especially in like your regional teams?
Okay, so one thing that I would say about Modern Ice, we have 60 employees. We're a
Mm-hmm.
$90 million company.
Oh wow.
That's not a very big company.
Yeah.
Um, and what I like about it is I've worked for corporate, publicly traded companies, which means they're shareholders that own the company. So it's public, it's a public company.
Yeah.
So those companies are always working to please their shareholders. And I feel like a lot of times I'm treated in those companies like I'm just another worker bee.
Mm-hmm.
When I work for a privately held company like the one that I work for, they're very thoughtful. They, like when I had COVID, they were very accommodating. I still got paid. I think I had 5 weeks off. I was so sick.
Mm-hmm.
And they just were like thoughtful. They think of people's families. If somebody goes through a death or a hard time or a marriage, the company culture is
Yeah.
that they take care of their own. So you're not just another number. And within my region, I think they support me. The culture of my company supports me in the endeavors that I choose to do within my region. So if I decide that I have a real opportunity, in Northern California, they're going to pay my way to get there and take care of all of the expenses. If I really, they'll trust me and put their money behind me.
Okay. So you would prefer a private company over, like, let's say, like a big, well-known public company.
Now, this is personal opinion, but 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That's good to hear.
It's small, it's big enough, but small enough.
But small enough, yeah.
I think you can get lost in the shuffle when you're such a large company. And I don't like the feeling of that.
Yeah. Would you think you gain more experience working for a private company versus like a public, or would you say it's kind of the same?
So one thing you're going to learn in business is that every company, to make them successful, they have processes.
Okay.
So everything they do within a company is a process. Larger publicly traded companies have die-hard processes in place, which make their company grow, and it allows them to scale, which allows them to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
A smaller privately held company like my own, they're trying to scale. So they're putting processes in place.
Yeah.
I'm a salesman. I have ADHD. I am all over the place. I don't like these like stringent processes, even though they're necessary for all companies and they are necessary for success. So my thoughts are, a little privately held, you're not going to have as stringent rules, hard and fast rules. They're going to work with you for ideas that you might think are good, and they're going to support you in those ideas.
Okay. So let's say I just graduated college. I'm looking for a career. Would you recommend to kind of get my name out there? I get experience in like a large public company, and then work there for a few years, and then go to like a smaller company and then help scale that company.
So depending on what you're looking to do with the company, I would get experience, not necessarily at a publicly traded company, but I would be taking advantage of the years you have right now in college. I wouldn't just be doing college. I would have a job too. And I would have a job, not just a job. I would have a job that ties with whatever industry I'm going into. So if I want to go into investing, or I want to go into sales, get a job working at your local Verizon store. And then when you do your job, do it really, really well. And that's going to take you in, that's going to give you opportunity and an in to the next step up. Now, yes, a lot of people end their career in publicly traded companies. I'm really giving you my personal preference, right? A privately held company is probably no better than, but I like the family feel of a smaller company.
So it's just pretty much a preference, what kind of works best for you.
Yes.
Okay, good to hear. Now, I kind of want to talk about the future, especially of a lot of business jobs and sales, etc. So like kind of like the rise of new technology like AI. How do you think this technology is going to shape kind of the future of your role in like the industry you're in?
Okay, it's funny that you ask, because I was just in a seminar this weekend on AI.
Okay.
And what my takeaway from that seminar was that kids your age, it's not that AI is necessarily going to take your job. It's that you are proficient in AI.
Yeah.
So if you know how to use AI to make your job better, that's where the key to success is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now with sales, I'm gonna say there's probably gonna be some streamlined sales that happen through AI,
Yeah.
where somebody's gonna type in and say, I want to buy an ice plant,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's just gonna streamline that process. My thought is that nothing is ever going to take away the human touch.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
it may take out middlemen in ways, but I think there's always going to be someone that needs to be there to manage the project, somebody that needs to be there to interact with another human.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is important that it was interesting because there was like 20 platforms that we were taught about at this seminar that were like the top 20 AI platforms to do things within a business. Yeah. And I thought, wow, if you can learn how to use those platforms and then you get a job and you can tell the old dog, which is your boss that doesn't know, hey, I can do this and this and this with AI, then you have a better chance. So keep your learning ears open and continue to learn AI. I don't really know what the future has to hold with sales, but I don't see my job going anywhere as of the next 10 years. So I'm going to keep making as much money as I can.
Okay, I see that. And I think like more, because at first when I started business, I didn't think much about AI or whatever. But you know, my generation uses it all the time. And recently I've been seeing, you know, just articles everywhere about AI is going to take finance jobs, AI is going to take accounting over. But I do agree that you need kind of a human there. And I think that it will make it easier, but I think in my generation uses it to their benefit. I don't think like our jobs will be taken, and especially sales. It's very much client facing, and I bet you could sell something better than AI can. So
yeah,
that's good insight. That's good to hear. Now we're coming to like the end. If there's any more advice for example, for anyone that, let's just say someone that is going through school and they don't really have much of an idea of what they want to go into, what advice would you have for them?
So that happened to me, and I went to college for 8 years. I think about that now, like my use of time wasn't that great because I didn't really know what I wanted to do, right? But I think time is really important. So like instead of thinking about how you're going to go backpack in Europe and hang out with your friends after college, get an apartment and have fun, I wish I had gotten to work, like, to be honest, because 20 years or 10 years more of income in your bank account is literally puts you in a place of retirement and at an earlier age, or it just puts more money in your bank account. So if you don't know what you want to do, I would do some deep thinking. I would write down all the qualities that you're good at, all the qualities or the industries that you are interested in. And then I would make a decision and I would execute on that decision. So if I knew that I had social skills and I knew the most money is to be made in robotics, like literally I would have worked harder towards that at a younger age than being 50 and working in it. There's something to be said with experience. But if you can say you've been in an industry for 20 years or 30 years and you're still young, it's pretty impressive, when you know people that have been brought up in your industry. So that's what I would say. Like, make some decisions, execute, find out what you're good at, find out what you're interested in,
Mm.
and execute, and just go down that path and work really hard.
Okay. I agree. I don't know if I'm gonna keep this part in what I'm about to say, but all like a lot of my friends and my roommates especially, they all want to go out. They all want to just like sleep in, do a whole lot of stuff. And I've been feeling because I'll have work and I'll have school, but they'll always come like do that later, whatever. Come
Yeah.
out with us, just do that later. And usually I don't, but I just try to keep a balance. But from this interview, I really think I'm gonna start focusing more on what I want to do instead of kind of like I'm trying to figure out, but I'm really gonna focus on what I'm good at. I'm gonna think about all the things I'm good at, all the things like the things I enjoy, and just kind of find something like an industry to really work hard in and get my foot in the door like now. So.
Well, the other thing is if you find an industry you like,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can take classes that allow you to specialize.
Mm-hmm.
So always, if you're going to get a sales job,
Yeah.
and there's something within that sales job that allows you to specialize, like for example, mine is robotics automation. That's the way of the future, you know.
Yeah.
And like to me, that's my specialty. Like I know about robotic arms, I know about gantry style palletizers, robotics.
Yeah.
And I know that like in the future that if I have to go get another job, that it's going to be easy for me to go do that with the, with automation becoming a big thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure.
Okay. Cool. Well, that wraps up our interview. Do you have any last, words or pieces of advice you want to say, or
do you have any last questions that you can think of?
Let me think. If I had some questions for you right now, would you recommend? Let me think of some good ones because I did ask all my questions, but questions just from myself. So I really don't know what I want to go into. I'm thinking wealth management. So from working at honestly from working valet and just kind of like my whole life, I can be a shy person, but I also can really build like connections with other people. And I've just been doing valet the past few months, and I've really